Hello everyone. In the last video, we have seen the fundamental lemma of the calculus of variations, and we have also proved one more lemma. So total lemma 1 and lemma 2. And then in the exercise, I had given you all one statement to prove. So let us quickly go through the proof of that. We can call it as lemma 3 if someone has not got the proof of that statement. You can see here now, and we will follow the similar lines as we have followed for the lemma 1 and lemma 2. Okay, so this was the statement. If alpha of x is a continuous function on closed interval a comma b, and if integral from a to b alpha of x into y double dash of x dx equal to 0, then for every y of x belonging to this class such that y at a is equal to 0, which is equal to y at b, and y dash at a equal to 0 equal to y dash at b, then alpha of x is given by this, that is c1x plus c2. This will be the form of alpha of x for all x in the closed interval a comma b, and c1 and c2 are the constants. Okay, so proof. Let us take the constants to be defined as this: integral from a to b alpha of x minus c1x minus c2 dx. Okay, so if you see here, this will give you the value of the constant c2. How it will give you the value of constant c2? What will happen? This integral, once you take that dx inside, this will be integral from a to b minus integral from a to b c2 dx. Okay, once you take it on the other side, you will get c2 outside into b minus a. 1 upon b minus a into that integral value will give you the value of the constant c2. Okay, similarly you can relate it here. That will give you the value of the constant c1, and then we have taken y of x to be equal to this. Okay, so now let us check if y of x is satisfying the conditions and it is belonging here. Okay, so y at a will be equal to 0. Y at b will be equal to what? Integral from a to b into this. Okay, but what is that? It is nothing but again this, no? Okay, which is equal to 0. Okay, so that condition is true. Secondly, y dash at a, first of all we will have to calculate what is y dash of x. Okay, and then in place of x we will substitute a to get y dash at a. So what will be y dash at x? Y dash at x will be y dash of x into derivative with respect to x of this quantity. Okay, so once you take it inside, it will be the partial derivative with respect to of this, which will be equal to 0, plus in this quantity, put wherever there is t, you put the upper limit, which is x. So we will get integral from a to x into alpha of s minus c1s c2 ds. Okay, this will be the y dash at x. Yes, but what is this? Integral from a to x into alpha of s minus c1s into c2 ds. Okay, so y dash at a will be what? Integral from a to x it was, no? So that will become, okay, let me write it here. So y dash at x will be integral from a to x alpha of s minus c1s minus c2 ds. So y dash at a will be what? Integral from a to a, so that will go to 0, and y dash at b will be integral from a to b, this, but that is becoming this, which is equal to 0. Therefore y dash at a is equal to 0, y dash at b is also equal to 0. Okay, we will also have to check if it's twice differentiable, right? We have seen only this y dash of x. So what will be y double dash of x? Y double dash of x will be equal to, again differentiating this with respect to x. So differentiating it with respect to x. So when you take it inside, partially differentiate this with respect to x, so that is 0, plus whatever is this, evaluate it at the upper limit, that is x. So what we will get? Alpha of x minus c1x minus c2 into derivative of this with respect to x, so that is 1, minus evaluate this at the lower limit into derivative of this with respect to x, but this is a constant, so derivative of this with respect to x will go to 0, and hence the second term is going. Okay, so y double dash of x is equal to this, and this is very well continuous. And now we shall consider this integral from a to b alpha of x minus c1x minus c2 into y double dash of x dx. This will be equal to integral from a to b alpha of x y double dash of x dx minus c1 into integral from a to b x into y double dash of x dx minus c2 integral from a to b y double dash of x dx. Okay, so when we simplify this, this is equal to 0 by the hypothesis. This will be minus c1 into, we'll use integration by parts for this, this will be x into y dash at x evaluated from a to b minus integral from a to b derivative of this into y dash of x dx minus c2 into, so integral of this will be y dash at of x evaluated at a and b, so it will be y dash at b minus y dash at a. So this will again go to 0, we will be left with only this, that is minus c1 into x into y dash at b minus x, not x, it should be, yes, b into y dash at b minus a into y dash at a so that will go to 0 minus, it's inside this, right? So this will be y at b minus y at a, so that is also going to 0, y at b minus y at a, so that will also go to 0, and hence it is equal to 0. Therefore what did we get? This into y double dash of x dx is equal to 0, but see that this is also equal to integral from a to b alpha of x minus c1x minus c2 into y double dash of x, but y double dash of x is what? This. So again we are getting this square dx, and from here that is equal to 0. So this will be equal to 0, and hence by using the property of Riemann integration we will conclude that this is equal to 0, which will imply alpha of x is equal to c1x plus c2, where c1 and c2 are the constants, and hence the proof. Now let us talk about the continuity of a functional. Okay, so if we relate it to the continuity of function f, where f is a real valued function, then continuity can be thought of as a function. Let us suppose say f of x. Okay, a function f of x is called a continuous function if for a small change in x, okay, what we say is, if a is a point, then a function f of x will be continuous at the point a if given epsilon greater than 0, we can find a delta neighborhood such that for all the x satisfying this relation, okay, what will happen? This will be true. F of a will be strictly less than epsilon. Okay, so in other words, if we see, for this small change in the argument, that is x, okay, this is called as the argument of the function f. For a small change in x, this is a, no? So in the neighborhood of a, if I am considering this real line, okay, in the neighborhood of a plus delta, a minus delta, for a small change in the argument, okay, the argument is a, f at a. For a small change in this, plus delta, minus delta, okay, it should be true that there is a small change in the function value. Okay, that means whatever is the function value for all those x, these x, it should be the variation should be very small between this. Okay, so in simple words, if we want to say, it will be like a function f of x is called continuous function if for a small change in x there is a small corresponding change in the function f of x. Okay, so similarly, when we talk about a continuity of a functional, it will be like a functional v y of x is called a continuous functional if for a small change in this y of x there is a small change in this value of vy of x. Okay, in the value of vy of x. Now when we say about this small change in this, for a small change in this there is a small change in this. Okay, here we take care of only this argument x minus a. Okay, f of x, and that is x minus a, the argument. But when we are talking about a functional, what will happen is, if we say for a small change in y of x, okay, we should get a small change in this vy of x. It might not be the enough condition, because this vy of x, the standard form, whatever we have seen, okay, we have here this f. Okay, and this f is depending on y dash as well. Okay, and there is a nice example available which shows that if we take care of only the small change in this y of x, it is not necessarily true that there will be a small change in y dash of x also. Okay, so here there might be a small change, but for the y dash this may differ very largely. Okay, so a nice example, standard example is there to depict, meaning to demonstrate this. So if we have a curve y of x, okay, and there is a curve close to this y of x, and let us call this new curve as y naught of x. Okay, so if you see, this is the change. So at the most it will be this change, no? Okay, this much is the change in y of x. Okay, but suppose we say that this is strictly less than some value. Okay, but it is not true that the derivatives of, so for this curve at this point the tangent will look like this. Okay, and for this curve, this y of x, at this point the tangent will be somewhat like this. The figure is not very appropriate, but see here, for this is the curve, so tangent will be somewhat like this, and for this curve y of x the tangent will be like this. So there is a big difference there. When I talk about the tangent, okay, for this curve y of x, at the point, let's call this point as x naught. Okay, for y naught, so for y of x, at the point x naught, okay, what will be the slope? This is a y of x, okay, and this is the tangent. So you can see how the slope will be, and this is a curve y naught of x. Okay, and again at the same point x naught, for this second curve the slope is this. So there is a very big variation in this. Okay, so because this is depending on y and y dash also, when we talk about continuity of the functional vy of x, we will have to take care of the term this as well as the term this. Okay, so with all this, the continuity of a functional is defined as the functional v y of x is continuous at y equal to y naught of x in the sense of kth order proximity, meaning kth order closeness. Okay, if for any positive epsilon there is a delta greater than 0 such that v y of x minus v at this y naught of x, this number is less than epsilon for y of x minus y naught of x less than delta y dash at x y naught dash at x less than delta, and accordingly y k x minus y naught k at x less than delta. Okay, and it is assumed that the function y of x, meaning whatever functions are considered here, these y of x are taken from the class of functions on which this vy of x is defined. Okay, like if we are talking about the continuity here, okay, on whichever interval the function f is defined, this x is taken only around that, okay, only in that. Suppose f of x is defined in 0 to 3, okay, then I will not say that this x is belonging to some other interval which is some it is a point which is lying somewhere outside the interval or something. Okay, it is the point on which the function is defined. Okay, so here basically whatever y of x will be considered will be only those y of x on which this vy of x is defined. Okay, so what does it say? The functional vy of x will be called continuous in the kth order proximity if for any given epsilon greater than 0 there exists delta greater than 0 such that this is less than epsilon for y of x satisfying these conditions. Okay, so if k is equal to 1, then it will have to satisfy two conditions. Okay, 0th order proximity means only this one condition, then two condition k is equal to 1, so it will be this and this condition. Okay, and what does k denote here? It is the kth derivative of y of x, kth derivative of y naught of x. Okay, so these quantities are the absolute value is less than delta. Then there is one more definition: the distance between two curves y1 of x and y2 of x. Okay, where x is between the interval x0 x1. This distance, it is a positive number, and that positive number is defined as rho to be equal to maximum of y1 of x minus y2 of x. Okay, where x is lying between x0 and x1. Okay, so distance between the two curves is defined to be a non-negative number rho, okay, consisting of the numbers this which are of this form. Okay, so basically for every x, whatever you get this value, then there will be one set, no, for all the x you will get one value. From among those, the maximum one, that is taken to be as the distance between the two curves y1 of x and y2 of x. Next is again the concept of kth order distance. Okay, so if y equal to f of x and y equal to g of x are two curves such that f and g have continuous derivatives up to order n on the closed interval a comma b, then the nth order distance between two curves is given by a number rho n, just to denote which order distance it is. Okay, so this will be given by rho n of f comma g distance, and it will be maximum of, so here this maximum will remain, and then there will be two maximums. In fact, I can, so this k less than or equal to n greater than or equal to 1, and here this x less than or equal to b greater than or equal to a, and it will be f of x minus g of x. Okay, and here it is k. So if you are asked to find the distance between the two curves f and g, the first order distance, okay, so what you will have to do is, for k equal to, sorry, this k should be 0. Okay, so first fix the k value to be 0. Okay, then calculate this, then fix the k value to be equal to 1, and then again calculate this. Okay, then you will get two numbers. From among those you have to choose the maximum one. Okay, so if the second order distance is asked, then what will happen? First fix the k to be equal to 0. So your function will be f of x minus g of x. This will become fx minus gx. Okay, then calculate maximum of mod fx minus gx in this interval. Okay, then that will be one number. Then fix k equal to 1, you will get one more number. Fix k equal to 2. So total 3 numbers you will get. From among those 3, choose the maximum one. So it is double maximum. See here, first it will work for this. Fix the value of k and then go inside. Okay, now let us note down some definitions of the norm function. Okay, so norm of y naught will be equal to maximum of mod y of x, where x is in this interval a to b. Okay, then norm of y1 will be defined as maximum of this y of x, where x is in the interval ab, plus maximum of x in the interval ab y dash of x. If it is 1, go till y dash of x. Okay, so accordingly norm yn will be equal to maximum of x, this AB, okay. So it will be y, some summation I will have to use, so y k of x, where the summation k will run from 0 to n, okay. Let me write it properly again. Summation k will run from 0 to n, and sum of all this till the kth derivative, okay. So it will be maximum of y k of x, x belonging to the interval AB, okay. If you see in one of the previous videos, after the video I have shared a PDF of some definitions, and I have used the notation norm in those definitions, but the norm definition, but the what norm it denotes the function was not mentioned before, okay. Therefore I have defined the norm here. So this symbol norm 0 is defined as this, and accordingly, okay.